Mickey Thompson presents the Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. From Los Angeles, California, right in the shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains, here it is at the Los Angeles Coliseum, one of the wildest motorsports events ever. Brought to you in part by the bottlers of Coca-Cola. And by the makers of Goodyear tires. If you don't have Goodyears, you need them. And America's premier motor oil, Valvoline. Hello, and welcome to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. We're here for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. I'm Bruce Flanders, and along with me to call the action, Larry Huffman.
Bruce, you think of the L.A. Memorial Coliseum, you think of the 1932 and 84 Olympics, and of course, the Coliseum is the home of the Los Angeles Raiders, and it's a wild place.
But there's no football going to be played here tonight. They've really made some modifications to this facility.
A lot of modifications. Mickey Thompson's built a man-made dirt battlegrounds of high-speed straightaways and humongous jumps, and he's got the top off-road riders and drivers in the world here tonight.
Hundreds of truckloads of dirt to transform the whole look of the place. And right now, let's all go for a lap around the course.
Let's take that lap with Mazda driver Glenn Harris in his factory Gran National Mazda truck. The course is a half-mile long, 6 turns and 5 major jumps. Down that front straightaway and bumping the rear of Rod Millen, the other team Mazda driver. Then into a left-hand hairpin, which funnels the trucks into a space wide enough for only 2. A right-hand turn out of that hairpin and heading for the world-famous peristyle, a unique part of this Coliseum course. The drivers go up 70 feet to the peristyle, the top of the peristyle, and then the peristyle loop, which is unique in that the trucks go out of the spectator's view. Then back to the top of the peristyle and 70 feet free-falling to the bottom of the peristyle, the floor of the Coliseum. At the bottom, a sharp right-hand switchback turn through some rough whoop-de-doos, and they set up for the fastest part of the course, the back straightaway. The trucks will be hitting close to 70 miles an hour with a couple of jumps thrown in just to make it interesting. At the end of that back straightaway, a very difficult and dangerous washboard section, and then a left-hand sprint car type sweeper. Then back up to around 65 miles an hour and over the finish line jump. And that's a lap of the Coliseum course.
We're coming right back with Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race number 1 right after this. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Earlier this evening, Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race number 1 ran, and it was a dandy to say the least. The lineup looked like this just before they took the green flag. On the pole, Danny Thompson in a Chevrolet. Next to him, Sherman Balch in a Nissan. Second row, Walker Evans in a Dodge, and number 5, Glenn Harris, whom we took that lap with in the factory Mazda. Third row, number 15, teammate Mazda, Rod Millen. Number 20, a privateer entry, Tom Halliburton, another Mazda. And then back on the 4th row, all by himself in number 12, Spencer Lowe in a Nissan.
Earlier today, Bruce had a chance to talk with Danny Thompson, the son of Mickey Thompson.
With me now, the only Chevrolet truck driver in this whole field. And Danny Thompson, that's kind of a tough assignment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're working against the Toyota factories and the Nissans and the Mazdas, and they've all been out here for a couple of years doing all their research and development work, and they're pretty far ahead of us. But I think this is our second race, and we're starting to work pretty good, and I think if we keep everything going in the right direction tonight, we'll have a pretty good chance.
Now,
Danny Thompson had teething problems with his Chevy truck last month at the Rose Bowl in his last race. Power steering, and then he actually rolled the truck, which is pretty serious teething problems, Bruce Flanders.
Oh, it is. Anytime you get him upside down. Watch for the green, and here it comes. Thompson apparently gets a heck of a start, and that Chevrolet making a lot of horsepower for him. Gets well out in front, but watch that battle behind him, Larry.
A tremendous battle as Glenn Harris in the factory Mazda goes in front of Sherman Balch into second spot, and then around the hairpin, there goes Balch on the inside, and he just forces his way through.
And Walker Evans back in the 4th place spot gets rearranged just a little bit. The sheet metal changing its shape on these trucks as we come through the peristyle end and out of the sight line of the spectators and ready for that free fall back into the Coliseum.
Danny Thompson, factory Chevrolet, flying through the air with the greatest of ease. He's got a lot of experience. He's raced off-road, sprint cars, Formula Atlantic, Super V, and he's a tough young cookie from Costa Mesa, California. But Sherman Balch right on his back tire.
Well, that Nissan, the red, white, and blue, and the number 10 on board out of Fremont, he was a winner when they ran down in San Diego at Jack Murphy Stadium. But through this rough section, it looks as though Thompson's Chevrolet getting through there smoother than anybody else. Whoa, especially smoother than number 15, Rod Millen.
I'll tell you, Thompson's got a lot of power, Bruce. He's putting it to the ground, getting through the rough sections and flying over those jumps beautifully. Sherman Balch in the factory Nissan trying to move up on him in that number 10, and then number 5 is Glenn Harris in 3rd spot. But it is Danny Thompson's race all the way now.
down. Well, as we look back on it, remember that second place and third place have both been winners in main events in major stadiums already this season, and Thompson has yet to put together his first win even in a heat race like this one.
Danny Thompson out of Costa Mesa in the Chevy, the X-Side Battery Chevrolet out in front. Look at him go through the rough stuff. You're absolutely right. He is going through that washboard section a lot better than the Mazda and the Nissan. Holy Toledo! Look at Walker Evans.
Walker Evans having a handful with his Dodge, but he's still in a good transfer spot into the main event. We'll see if the Dodge can make its appearance later on this evening. And up on two wheels, a little bicycle move right there by Sherman Balch, and some smoke now, which actually we're looking back at this so we can tell you that's power steering fluid leaking off onto the headers on number 5, Glenn Harris's Mazda.
They're sideways down that front straightaway. This is heat number 1 action. Remember now, Danny Thompson, yellow Chevrolet in front, right behind him on a factory Nissan that's reputed to cost around $160,000 is Sherman Balch. Nose to tails, they head for the peristyle once again, and we're in the last lap action of this first heat race at the Coliseum.
Up the climb one more time with 3 different optional windows or portals to go through as they exit the facility, but only one single narrow line to come back into it, and what a fly back in onto the floor of the Coliseum.
The drivers told me earlier, Bruce, they come off that peristyle jump, they see nothing but blackness, darkness as they head down. They hope that there's nobody crossed up beneath them stalled. On the back straightaway is still Danny Thompson the final lap, and Sherman Balch just can't get that Nissan close to him.
Both of them looking for that transfer to the main, and also fighting right now for the better starting positions in the main event. And Sherman Balch will not give up. And the Chevrolet, well, the Chevrolet is putting down lots of horsepower. As Larry said, checkered flag. Danny Thompson wins heat race number 1. Sherman Balch ends up second, and the third place spot going to number 15, Rod Millen out of New Zealand.
Danny Thompson dominating heat number 1. Bruce, what do you think was the key?
Larry, it had to be the way the truck covered the rough terrain. It really went over it smoothly, plus the amount of torque that engine was putting out.
Putting out a lot of high-end speed, high speed. Danny Thompson in that V6 Chevrolet-powered truck looked awfully good in heat number 1. Let's go down to the Goodyear victory stand and a very happy Danny Thompson and Sandy Reed. Sandy?
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Danny Thompson. What a beautiful job. Into the winner's circle with Chevrolet, Danny.
All right, thank you very much. The Chevrolet performed really well. This is only our second race, and the thing's really starting to work good, so we're happy for X-Side and Chevrolet both. Thank you very much.
Did you make any special changes in it at all?
Oh, we've just been struggling with teething problems during the whole week, being that it's a new truck and everything, and it looks like everything's finally starting to come together, and the crew and I are all very happy.
Well, I don't think you're the only one that's happy. I think this crowd is happy over Chevrolet. How about it? Let's hear it for Danny Thompson.
Thank you.
The Grand National trucks are rapidly becoming the most popular class in short course off-road racing. Earlier, Bruce went to the Nissan pits and talked with Roger Mears.
We're down in the pit lane right now taking a close-up look at Roger Mears' Nissan truck, the newest of a generation of off-road trucks. Roger, is there any basic differences right off the top that you can think of between this one and the old one?
Well, yeah, first off, this is the new hard body, and it's, of course, it's got all the good safety features like the chrome ollie roll cage all the way through, and the chassis has all the structural braces to support it, to take all the abuse we put it through.
When you are in here and driving, is it a comfortable driving position? Is it somewhere you could spend hours, or is it a very intense place to do your work?
No, we concentrate, real well on the driver comfort, because I am getting older, and I like all the comfort I can, and I think it really enhances your driving to have all the things where you want them, the steering wheel. I mean, let's face it, those are the tools I have to work with, and the mechanic, he is real particular about what kind of tool he uses to work on it, so I want my tools where I want them.
All right, your tools. We'll be looking forward to seeing your tools work a little bit more. Roger Mears, who also loves to fly one of these Nissan trucks. Yeah. Probably going for a pilot's license soon, right?
That could happen.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Roger, for spending some time and walking us through the truck.
Thank you, Bruce.
And the lineup for heat number 2. Bruce?
As we set him up down on the line, it'll be number 18, John Swift in the Ford. Number 3, Steve Millen, the points leader in the Toyota. Row number 2 has got number 2, Ivan Stewart, another Toyota, and number 1, last year's champion, Roger Mears, in a Nissan. Going back to row 3, number 6, Mike Polkowski, a privateer Toyota. Number 7, Jeff Huber, a hard-running Ford. And all alone on the 4th row, the only other Chevrolet, number 14, Billy Moore, and we're green, Larry.
And out in front, a battle, but taking over the lead, is Millen. Millen got a good hole shot from the outside. And that Popeye's Ford in second being nudged. He's trying to hold on to second, but it is Millen in front.
Millen with the automatic transmission version of the Toyota that they run so hard, climbing his way out of the Coliseum now with a big lead. He's really opening it up in a hurry.
No question about that. He goes to the peristyle outside the view of the spectators, then back to the floor of the Coliseum.
Millen's Toyota running well as he gets back down onto the floor of the Coliseum. Now blamed one of his sponsors, and this thing can motor. He's out in front, hooking it up right now, Larry, and he looks bad.
He is moving out in front and building up a big lead over second place John Swift. He's 25 years old out of Oxnard. There he is behind him, but Millen flying through the air. Boy, this guy is going for air. He's going to need oxygen, Bruce.
Third place vehicle coming by, the Nissan of Mears. Fourth place, it's Huber in the Ford, and then the other Toyota of Ivan Stewart, and they are really motoring at the moment as you look at Steve Millen.
Steve Millen, New Zealand, out in front, a former rally champion, and he is opening up the lead. But here is the battle for third. These guys are hammering at each other, Bruce.
Jeff Huber on the driver's left-hand side, Roger Mears on the right-hand side, and nobody's going to give an inch when they come to the hairpin.
That is Huber and the Chief Auto Parts Ford stuck in the middle, and he's got a sandwich as Swift goes to the outside and Mears goes to the inside.
Well, we have rearranged the top positions now. We've got the Toyota of Millen out in front, a pair of Fords with John Swift and Jeff Huber, and now a rather upset Roger Mears sits in fourth.
Whoa, straight up and down, and that's a problem for the Chief Auto Parts Ford of Huber, and Mears goes by him on the inside.
So let it show, lap 5, as Mears takes back over the third place spot, and there's beginning to be oil smoke come out underneath the Chief Auto Parts Ford truck.
Now remember, they're battling for the second position. Number 18, John Swift of Oxnard in the Ford, right in front of Roger Mears. Mears is running second, and wait a minute, we got a problem as the Toyota goes to the outside.
That was a lap truck. That was Mike Falkowski, the privateer. These are the factory efforts, and this is still a battle now for second place, Larry, and it's a good one as they bang on each other.
Whoa, and there is Roger Mears trying to get in front of number 18, John Swift. He is hammering at him, hammer and tug. Look at them both sides, going to the outside. Number 18, Swift, and number 1, Roger Mears.
Swift gets a lot of torque as that Ford gets off the corner in a hurry, but it looks as though his machine is falling apart around him right now, Larry.
Looks like an auto parts swap meet, I'm telling you. It's still Swift, number 18 of the Popeye Ford. Popeye Fried Chicken Ford.
Millen out in front of it. Swift in second as the last lap flag flies, and Roger Mears trying to improve himself one more spot. Watch him close.
Now remember, this is the battle for second. Millen is way out in front. He's built up an insurmountable lead. We are watching the battle for second as Mears goes over the water barrier, almost goes down. I think he was saved by that jump, Bruce.
It looked like it. Something saved him anyway. Now he's climbing up the hill, and he's still safely in his third place spot. Or are you safe when Ivan Stewart's on your tail?
Steve Millen out of Santa Ana, California now, originally from New Zealand, takes the checkered flag. John Swift is second, and Roger Mears out of Bakersfield finishes third. Bruce, do you think it was the fact that he had a front row start?
I don't know. It could have definitely had something to do with it, but Millen is so fast, so bloody fast.
Factory Toyota, Steve Millen, a rally driver, comes to the United States and starts going right into off-road trucks, and he has done very well here at the Coliseum.
We're going to put him now down on the Goodyear victory stand, unbuckle him, and get him out of the truck.
Sandy Reed, take it away.
Steve Millen will be congratulated here by members of his crew up here on the line. Steve, what a job you did out there. It was just beautiful. You want to stand over here just a little bit? There you go, right there. And you had somebody working on you all the time, and I think you do it.
Well, you know, it's lucky to have a great crew, and my guys have worked hard the last 2 or 3 days, and it pays. Toyota's the best truck out there, I think, and I'm just so happy to be with the team.
You had a bunch of guys behind you who would love to have caught up to you, but I don't think there was any way, Steve. You had it all locked.
Well, what can I say? It's a great little Toyota, you know, but it's just neat to see so many people here tonight. It's a great venue, and I'd like to welcome my mum from New Zealand.
When we come back next to the Los Angeles Coliseum, it will be the slam-bang action of the main event. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Bruce Flanders along with Larry Huffman, and we're ready for the main event. The front row looks like this. Row number 1, number 18, John Swift, and number 10, Sherman Balch. Swift in a Ford, Balch in a Nissan. Then Steve Millen, a Toyota. Danny Thompson, a Chevrolet. Rod Millen, a Mazda. Roger Mears, a Nissan. Glenn Harris, a Mazda. Jeff Huber, a Ford. Walker Evans, a Dodge. Ivan Stewart, a Toyota. Spencer Lowe, a Nissan. Mike Falkowski, a Toyota. Tom Halliburton, a Mazda, and Billy Moore in a Chevrolet. What a lineup, Larry.
14 truck main event, Bruce Flanders, the largest field ever, twice the size of the heat races. Remember, the heats determine the starting position. All trucks are lined up for the main event.
50-some-odd thousand people here in the Los Angeles Coliseum, and a green flag on the premier event, and it looks like John Swift has got his Popeye Fried Chicken Ford out in front of the field.
Swift, a beautiful start, goes out in front, then into the left-hand hairpin, and he gets nudged, and out in front goes Sherman Balch.
Boy, if that's nudging, I'd hate to see when they hit each other. Look at that. It is Millen getting really wasted out of this deal. So also is Swift, but now they're well back. And out in front, Sherman Balch, number 10, the Nissan factory racing truck.
That's right. It is Sherman Balch out in front, flying off that peristyle, and he has flown further than anybody else here tonight, Bruce. He is out in front, number 10, Sherman Balch.
Definitely been getting some air as they re-enter the Coliseum. Sitting in the second place is the number 4. That's Danny Thompson with the Chevrolet that won a heat race earlier, and right with him is the Ford.
Huber, the chief auto parts Ford, slams into Thompson, goes into second spot ahead of Danny Thompson, and there's the back straightaway. Out in front, Balch, and that is Huber running in second spot, and Danny Thompson in third.
Balch making hay while the sun shines. He's opened up now about a 2-second lead as the rest of them come over this hard terrain. Balch now individually over these one-on-one type of jumps, and he sets back up for that left-hand hairpin. Here comes Huber with that hard-running Ford, with what's left of that Ford, and Thompson right behind him in the Chevrolet.
Huber, and out of Apple Valley, California, and watch out because there is Ivan Stewart moving up.
And it was a bump once again as it looks like the Chevrolet and the Ford tangled with each other. Meanwhile, the Nissan out in front, and the crowd's going nuts as these guys hammer the throttle.
The peristyle, the unique peristyle, the Los Angeles Coliseum as they wend their way around the Serpentine course. And there is Danny Thompson, number 4, and losing body parts as he goes around that left-hand turn. Huber right behind him.
And now running out in front of it. Look at, there it is. Balch well in front. The Chevrolet in second of Thompson. The Ford in the third place spot. Then a Toyota. And then finally a Nissan in the fifth place spot. And that's Roger Mears.
Sherman Balch, Nissan factory truck, about $160,000 worth of Nissan out there in front, sponsored in part by Fontana Nissan. He's having a few problems, but very few problems, as he stays out in front.
Climbing the 70-foot climb out of the peristyle end of the Coliseum, where he's got 3 different portholes to choose from. He takes the one in the middle. That's been the good line. Now the big left-hand sweeper, and re-enter the Coliseum once again, and on his tail, Thompson with the Chevrolet. Look at that air time.
Boy, he is getting air 70 feet down to the floor of the Coliseum through the cold night air. But the crowd favorite Bruce Flanders has got to be Danny Thompson. He is getting the people standing up on their feet. He's in second spot right now in that Excite battery number 4 Chevrolet.
And that Chevrolet makes a lot of ground back up on this back straightaway area. There he is flying in pursuit of Sherman Balch. By the way, Larry, let me point out, Sherman Balch was the winner in the big event that they ran at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego just earlier this year.
Sherman Balch, Sherman Tank Balch out in front, right behind him, Danny Thompson. And Thompson seems to have the horsepower edge, Bruce, as he moves up behind Balch into that left-hander.
It's a Nissan, a Chevrolet, and then a Ford running in the top 3 spots at the moment. And again, it's climb out of the Coliseum time for Sherman Balch. Horsepower to the ground. Look at that shot as he gets air out of the Coliseum.
Meanwhile, back in the pack, Steve Millen, who is running almost dead last after tangling in the front in the start, is working his way up. He is into 8th spot. Sherman Balch in front.
By the way, one other thing, too, there was a change just this last... Ooh, a little bicycle there by Balch. A change in the rules this year. They have now made rear-view mirrors illegal. The reason behind that, they don't want to have that defensive kind of driving when someone is attempting to make a pass.
Might point out that these trucks all run roll cages in case of a rollover. They know they're going to roll over. That's Sherman Balch, number 10 in front, and look at Danny Thompson is on the gas. This guy is moving up behind Balch.
He has cut the lead in half right now, and the Chevrolet, making such good torque as it did earlier in the heat race, is closed up now to what? They're going to touch right there. That's how close it is for first and second place right now.
Danny Thompson again slams into Sherman Balch, and he's making Balch nervous. What he's doing now is trying to psych him out. Meanwhile, back in the middle of the pack, running about 5th spot, is number 1 Roger Mears, and Mears is losing body parts.
Boy, body parts starting to come off of several of these different ones, but Roger in a real bad way. Again, we look at Sherman Balch re-entering the Coliseum. He has headed this thing since the very first lap, and it looks like it's his at the moment.
Sherman Balch, number 10, getting up into traffic now with Danny Thompson on his back tire. Look out! Roger Mears goes off the track.
Roger Mears puts the other factory Nissan out into the weeds, if there are any, here at the Coliseum, and recovers. But number 15 went by, and that's Rod Millen in the Mazda truck.
The battle is up in front. Sherman Balch, and on his back tire, and this guy is all over the track. Danny Thompson in second spot. They're coming up behind Tom Halliburton. They're going to lap Halliburton.
And again, with no rearview mirrors, Halliburton doesn't know they're coming. Balch goes inside of him, driver's left-hand side, and gets by. And it looks like Thompson punted him out of the way, but he isn't clear of the way. Now they're blocking the whole course, Larry.
Sherman Balch going out in front and running away, but these guys don't know what's going on. That's Roger Mears, number 1.
Oh!
Holy Toledo!
Now, there's no way through that course anywhere, as there's a complete log jam there. It looks like the Hollywood Freeway at rush hour. Thompson gets away from it, but he's the only one. Halliburton can't get it to refire. Coming around the outside.
Glenn Harris, holy Toledo. The Mazda goes up in the air, and they are stuck there. The rest of the field going through. Here's Mears, and Mears apparently cutting the course.
It looks like Mears found a short way through. I got a feeling there'll be some discussion about that afterwards.
With the rules committee, Harris is sitting there saying, get me out of this, you guys. I'm stuck here. I want to race.
The corner flagmen are doing the best they can, but you don't want to get in there too quick with Mears with a gearbox full of reverses and first gears. Let's see if they can get him untangled. That's Halliburton on the left. He's over on his side, and he is definitely in trouble as we come back up on the same location once again. The leaders are back up to this position one more time and trying to double cut the corner and make it by is Jeff Huber, but they're not going to let him make that double cut.
He's got a problem with the front end. The wheels are in odd positions. There is number 2. Holy Toledo. That's Ivan Stewart. He's having problems trying to get around. They get around the collision, the Glenn Harris blockade there. And meanwhile, Danny Thompson trying to hold on. Oh, watch out.
Roger Mears all over the racetrack trying to close in on Danny Thompson in what should be a battle for second place, but you saw Roger Mears cut the course earlier.
Yes, he did. The rules committee is going to have something to say about that. Meanwhile, Sherman Walsh, we know he is out in front into the peristyle end. Number 10, Sherman Walsh in front.
And he's closing on Spencer Lowe, the third of the factory Nissan efforts. And Lowe, I imagine, would move over and let him by, but meanwhile, still we cannot get Harris untangled there.
Finally, Glenn Harris gets pulled off, and he's still trying to get around Halliburton. If we could read his mind, Bruce, we could not say this on a family show what he is thinking.
Or Halliburton either. Here we come. We're looking at Roger Mears now, who we think is possibly in third, but probably not because of cutting the course. But he's still racing hard as they try to put Halliburton, greasy side, back down.
Smoke coming out of Danny Thompson Chevrolet. Power steering fluid, probably. They had problems earlier. That is Danny Thompson, a yellow flatbed truck now in second spot. Roger Mears coming up, and Roger Mears goes over. And Mears, holy Toledo, the head going back and forth. He is knocked unconscious.
He's out cold, folks. Take a close-up look at that driver. He's not moving. The truck is. It's an automatic transmission. It'll still creep along, but Mears has not moved physically in that truck.
He is knocked out, and here come the other trucks around him, Bruce. They get around him. Incredible driving by that Ivan Stewart going around him.
And look at the power steering fluid burning on the headers now of Danny Thompson. He's still making plenty of good horsepower, folks, and still hanging on to the second place spot. And working on him is number 3, Steve Millen.
Millen is trying to get around. He's going to need a gas mask to do it. Meanwhile, out in front, Sherman Walsh way out in front, heading for the checkered flag. Oh, look at the smoke coming out, billowing now out of the XI battery Chevy truck of Danny Thompson.
Must be a little hard to try and figure a way around him, but you don't climb up on top of him that way.
He loses more body parts, turns into a flatbed truck. That's Danny Thompson in second, trying to hold on. Steve Millen in third, but Thompson is smoking, the crowd standing and cheering. They go around Halliburton again and around Mears, still motionless inside the truck.
And we're watching those leaders come around as the last lap flag is now flying. Final time around.
Can he hold on? That's the question. Can Danny Thompson hold on? The power steering has spotted. Got to be giving him trouble, Bruce.
Steve Millen sticks a wheel in underneath, sticks the whole truck in underneath, and Millen has now taken over the second place spot. Thompson's got to double cut the corner. We're back on the leader now.
Sherman Walsh in front and pulling away. Now it is Walsh in front of the checkered flag, and Sherman Walsh, Team Nissan, takes it.
Sherman Walsh out of Fremont, California for the win. Steve Millen out of New Zealand second. Danny Thompson gets third. Ivan Stewart gets fourth, and we're going to come back for a victory circle, which ought to be a good one after this. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum, and boy, what a wild and woolly main event that was. Word from the medical people is that Roger Mears is okay, and so is everybody else. In fact, let's go now to the victory stand and Sherman Walsh.
Have any problems at all?
Just off the start, I couldn't get the engine to rev up off the start. It's been bogging on the starting line. So I just did the best and then had to make up for it.
How about the mess down here in the corner?
I was fortunate there. There's a little luck in all racing. I wasn't involved right in it, and I was able to cut inside and around it, and I was able to pass one of the cars involved just before it happened. So I was fortunate there.
For Sandy Reed and Larry Huffman, this is Bruce Flanders. We hope you've enjoyed a look at the Gran National Sport Truck Division of Mickey Thompson's Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. And as the people file out of the Coliseum, they have seen a show tonight. In fact, we're going to take a quick look at some of the other great races that made up this whole night of action.